All right. All right, let's go. Oh, I don't have my. That's okay. Good morning. So, come on, go ahead, take it out on me. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let's just have the Kachucks not getting a hearing fight now. Let's just do it for a whole hour. Okay. It got so cold I literally had to put the heater on in this room again. Good morning. Good Sunday vibes. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Hey, Colby. Panthers have scored 2 goals on Vasi since game 1. Yep. You are correct, sir. Hey, Jake, IDK, Eric. Oh, Eric's all right. Okay. Yeah. So, all right. So, how about that Dolphin draft, huh? How about Landeskog got a goal? Huh? Landeskog got a goal. It was that. Ottawa won a game in overtime. Anything else you guys want to talk about this morning? Jake, I know, man. I know. I mean, it is. I mean, we have scored 1 goal in each of the last 2 games, right? Yeah. I mean, we do need to score some goals. But we've got, I mean, the players, they just have to start shooting the puck a little bit more, man. We're getting some kind of opportunities there. Just too much fussing around with little passes. Chris, I know. We should probably just give the trophy back, Chris. We should probably just give the cup back. You know, let McDavid have his first cup. Yeah, Trey, nothing. No hearing, no fine. I think they sent Chucky a basket of roses, a cheese and butter basket. I think they framed a picture of the hit in the Hall of Fame, at least from what I'm getting from Tampa fans on Twitter this morning. It's what it sounds like. I mean, I was surprised Hagel got suspended. Even though it was a headshot, I still figured, they're going to fine him. I didn't think they'd suspend him. And then they suspend Puljujarvi for 2 games for just a little, right? All he does is just like, I mean, he hit the dude, but Puljujarvi got 2 games for that. So there's no rhyme or reason to it at all. And my assumption would be, and I would think that if they ever answered it officially, my assumption would be Hagel hit Barkov in the head. Chucky did not hit Gensel in the head, and that's the line. Because if they go giving guys suspensions for every late, questionable, but clean hit, they're going to be suspending guys every night. I think it would just get out of hand. Chucky played with the line and won. And it is what it is. And if I'm Tampa fans right now, what am I worried about? You won the game without Hagel on the ice. You survived it. You should be happy this morning. My opinion was I would have preferred Hagel to not be suspended because I didn't want to hear Tampa fans talk about we only won game 3 because Hagel was suspended. So are Tampa fans afraid of Tkachuk to the point where you want him to be out? I mean, you guys can either beat us or you can't. I wasn't, I would have preferred Hagel not be suspended so we don't have to deal with this for every single time a Panther does something. That's the playoffs. They're all going to play on the line, and sometimes they whoopsies, right? Sometimes they whoopsies and hit the captain in the jaw, and they miss a game. IDK says that's what Elliot. Yeah. Hey, Ted, how you doing? You're at game 4, the Devils Hurricanes? All right. Very cool. Trey says, all bodies, no suspension, but I thought he'd have to write a check. I thought he'd have to write a check too. That's what I figured. He could write it to me, right? I thought he was going to have to write a check for sure. But I didn't think a suspension was coming. I didn't think they were going to suspend Hagel. If somebody can explain to me how Puljujarvi's hit was 2 games and Hagel's was only 1, then I'll know what the criteria is. You know what I mean? Like, if somebody can show me why Puljujarvi got 2 games for a shoulder and Hagel got a game for, clocking Barkov in the jaw, I just can't be upset about it. We're still the champs until they take it away from us. And we knew we were going to play like ass anyway because it was a 1 o'clock game. We all knew as soon as we saw the schedule, we're like, shit, we're losing game 3. They did it on purpose. If you want to have a conspiracy, there's your conspiracy. Hey, why don't we give the defending Stanley Cup champs their first home game after winning the Cup? How about 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday? Now, if that's not purposeful and malicious, I don't know what is. So, Ted, no, he's getting no suspension, no fine. So he's good to go. In terms of the game yesterday, we've seen that team before, plenty this regular season, haven't we? Only now it's the postseason. They're just not going to make anything easy on themselves. They're just not capable. They don't have, and it's Maurice. And it's not even like I'm saying that as a complaint. It's just an observation. You see Maurice's press conference last night. He'd taken a Valium, and he's like, well, it's really not anything differently than I would have expected. I didn't think the game was all that physical. What were you watching, Paul? Good grief. So he's just so calm about everything. The only guy calmer is Cooper. I like Cooper, but damn, that little grin he's constantly have on his face is annoying when he's beating your team. But we knew we were going to be bad, and so we got it all out in one game. All the bad habits from the regular season, being bad in the afternoon, being bad the first game, home game off of a road trip. We got it all out in one game. So good. We'll take it. We'll come back Monday and get some rest, right? Because they barely played yesterday, so they'll have 2 nights off basically, and we'll be fine on Monday night. And it is what it is, I don't think anybody thought we was going to sweep. I picked Panthers in 7, so the fact that we could still do it in 5 might take 6. If we can win 4, we'll probably sleepwalk through game 5 because this team just must have adversity. They must. We couldn't even sweep a team right. We had to play 6 games of hockey to sweep Carolina. We just can't handle success. But yet we can't come back from behind anymore. So that's a bad combination. We do need to score some goals. And don't even get me started about the Ekblad thing. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. I mean, Forsling was asked yesterday too. It was just the whole, I can't believe, I don't know. I don't know. I'll let you guys tell me what Ekblad did. I mean, it was just like 4 unlucky. He deflects the one where Point got the deflection. It's not like you're expecting Ekblad to block him out. It's just not how his game is. He defended the 2-on-1. It was Forsling that lost the puck. So he just happened to be right there. Hey, David. Ted says, I admire how poised and calm Paul Maurice is. To an extent, yeah. I wish he would be that way when we win and not make changes. Like when you're on the road and you beat Tampa 1-0, 2 because of the empty net, you just basically played a perfect game. Why you got to go make changes? And, Colby asked him if he had anything further on Samoskevich and why he moved him around. And he's like, well, I liked his first game. He didn't tell us exactly what it is. He's just saying like he's learning. He got into it, wasn't happy with the second game. It's like, well, if he's a young player learning in the playoffs and we still shut the other team out, how about we just keep leaving him there and let him learn if he's not hurting us? Because it ain't like anybody else is scoring. It's Chucky and Schmidt, and that's it, right? Anybody else score? I guess a couple people scored game 1. But I wish he would have just left the winning lineup alone, So on one hand, he's all calm, cool, and collected when we lose. But then when we win, it's like he takes it as a challenge. I still got to find something wrong. Like I do that, but I'm a YouTuber. It's a shtick. I'm kidding. With Maurice, he literally will take a 5-0 game and be like, we've got to find something to work on. We've got to find something wrong with that and change things. That's the part I wish he'd be a little bit more calm about. So that's my rant for this morning. I had a good night after the game. I ain't going to be mad about this. What the hell is there to be mad about? You knew we were going to suck on 1 o'clock on the Saturday afternoon. When's the last time we played good in the afternoon? Right? Who could find that stat? Did they even have Google? Do they even have stats that go back that far the last time we played an afternoon game where we looked like ourselves? We came out with 10 minutes of energy, and then our normal, typical 2 p.m. nap time that these guys all must take a nap at the same time. The body's clock just, hey, aren't we supposed to be sleeping? And so they walked through the rest of the game. All of them, Bob included. Not that it was really his fault, but if you don't think Bob was sleeping at the end of the first period when he almost let the freaking clear on the power play, right? We're killing the penalty and the puck comes down and he misses it. That was indicative. We knew then. It's like I saw that. I'm like, oh, it's not. I don't like how this game is going. When's the last time you saw Bobrovsky do something like that? Trey says if that puck had gone in, Bolts would be winning in 6. Jake says, you don't think any of them played that bad? I don't know. I don't think that any of them, defensively, it wasn't, well, defensively, they played bad. One pair played bad. Like when I looked at it, the rest of the way, it's like Mikula and Jones were fine. Schmidt and Kulikov were fine. But all four goals were Forsling and Ekblad. You can't have a good day if your pair allows 4 goals, right? It's just not okay. And it's not like they're playing bad. It's just they're not scoring. They're not scoring. They're going to have to work a little bit harder in front of the net, create some screens, and just that's what pissed me off about Maurice Wu and Samoskevich more than anything, because he's the one in the top 6 that will shoot first. You know, IDK says, I think that's the real Panthers. Vasi's in the zone now, plus our terrible offense. I don't see us winning another game. Well, we'll find out. You've been saying that all season, though, IDK, so you're consistent. We'll find out Monday. I think it was an aberration. I just think this team, if they don't sense like that they are in a must-win situation, they just struggle with intensity. Jake says, have you ever watched a compilation of goalies letting in the most oddball goals? Bob would have been a new addition. I know he didn't miss by much. I'll have to watch that, Jake. He didn't miss. I saw that, and it went right past him. And I kind of thought that would have woke him up. Not that it was really his fault. I mean, deflections and 2-on-1. The bad part about last night or yesterday afternoon was as soon as Tampa scored and it was 3-1, you knew we weren't. I mean, we put the rally caps on, we got Sasha out, but you knew we weren't getting 2 goals. You just the confidence in this team to come back from behind like that. They've just, for whatever reason, whether it's systemic, whether it's on purpose, whether it's exhaustion, but they've just dialed down the offense just a little bit too much. And it's playoffs. You're not winning a cup if every time you're down by 1 or 2 goals, it's over and you can't come back. You're going to have to mount some comebacks. And this season has been just consistently bad with, if we get behind, it's just like close up shop. It's just nobody stepping up. Trey says headshot suspension, no headshot, no suspension. Right. Eric, yeah, I would expect them to bounce back. Yeah. One crazy guy says the coach's job is to analyze everything. Sometimes that can be counterproductive. Sometimes just accepting things with grace is the best formula. I mean, that's just my opinion. I agree with you on. It's just like if you win both games in Tampa, I know the whole Ekblad thing, but even if you didn't like Samoskiewicz's second game, Paul, you still won the game. you still shut them out. Like sometimes if you're letting a guy learn on the job and it's not hurting you, just keep letting them go. I mean, Bennett and Samoskevich have been together the whole time. Not the whole time, but more than half the season. Hey, David, what did communists say? Is Tampa has figured out that the Panthers tried to put as much pressure immediately on the puck, so Tampa couldn't get set up. So Tampa now moves the puck immediately to counter that. Yeah, no, they were definitely better. They were definitely better with that. Look, even the 3 goals, the first 3, okay, right? It's 2-1 after 2. It's not the end of the world. They get the third one at the beginning of the third period. And even at that point, the problem, in my opinion, in there isn't anything other than we have no confidence that we can come back. Like if Edmonton's down 3-1 to start the third period, everybody knows they can come back just like that. If Colorado's down, they can come back just like that. And we used to be that way. But whether it's by system design or these guys are just exhausted, I mean, we're down 3-1 most of that period, and I didn't see any change in the intensity, any change in like trying to take some offensive chances. Has Forsling had a shot? Forsling was taking a ton of shots, and now I haven't seen him come in on the rush and taking a shot at all. So I grasp what they want to play defense, but at this point they are sacrificing offense. And yesterday it didn't help them anyway. They still allowed the 4 goals. Charles says, well, I think the Panthers defense is too aggressive, leads to more breakaway goals, whether the Panthers are on a power play or not. They're usually really good with knowing when to pinch and when not to pinch. They're usually better with that. I don't know what happened yesterday with Forsling and Ekblad. Can't see the film. You only can see what they show you on TV. You can't see the play develop, and it's frustrating because if you're at the game, you can see everything develop. But on TV, it's like you're limited to being able to see little bits and pieces, and there's something going on away from the camera. But Charles says, I hope we can. Yeah, I think we're still going to win the series. Ted says, to a man with a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Yeah. Jaws, you do that too. We had just won the cup and you were complaining about Ekblad in a Game 7 recap. Well, yeah, but that was my point. I'm a YouTuber. I'm just talking shit for entertainment, right? It's my job to entertain and to look at. I can bitch and complain about things because I have no power to get any things changed unless I speak a trade into existence. But that was a good change. But I'm not like, I get emotional after the game, and then the next day I would look at the film and be like, all right, what do we really need to do? Trey says, I think they said F it after the shorty. I think so. Meadow says that's what Paul wants, sacrifice offense for trying to sit on a 1-goal lead. Right. Yeah, Kate, it was just a bad game. No doubt. No doubt. Maurice said no changes for Game 4 yet. He has to watch the video and consult with Fluffy. No changes. I mean, if you want to move Samoskevich, I said this yesterday. If you want to move Samoskevich, put him on the third line with Lundell and Marchand and move Luosterainen down. But Luosterainen couldn't score at Katy Perry's house right now. Als, yeah, we're going to do the Canadiens-Caps game for sure. I'm not sure what we're doing other than that. I don't know if we're going to do anything earlier than that. I got to look at the schedule. Dave says, man, never fishing or golfing with y'all. Looks like rain. Let's go in. The fish aren't biting. Let's leave. It isn't all about the destination. People got to learn from and enjoy the journey. David, David's quoting Journey this morning. Oh, no. Let's see. My uncle was like that, David. He'd come to the pier with us, and we'd wait for him to leave because we knew once he left, the fish would start biting. Hey, Amanda. Oh my God. Good thing he didn't stream the Marlins. They lost 14-0. For those of you who weren't there last night, thank you again, Amanda. Last night, Amanda, in the middle of the stream, pays Kyle $100 to stream the Marlins game. And he's like, okay, sure. So she sends $100 and he starts streaming the first inning of the Marlins game during the intermission of Toronto and Ottawa before they go to overtime. And the first two batters, like, what was it? 2 home runs in 3 pitches. And then so we had to switch back to the hockey game. And like halfway through the period, Amanda's like, Kyle, I'll let you off the hook. It's already 6-0. So, and I almost choked myself, laughing myself to death when I heard Kyle, what? Oh my God, it's another home run. So that was a fun night. Trey says E2 and Verhaeghe are going to be the reason we keep Bennett. Which, by the way, I mean, so people were telling me that Verhaeghe, the real swaggy, was going to show up in the playoffs. Hello. Where's the light for swaggy? David, your brother's like that? Yeah. You know, fishing would be okay. 11:30 in the morning, he'd leave because he'd want to start being able to drink. Soon as he'd leave, tide would change. Fish come in. I says a reporter asked Maurice who Fluffy was, and Maurice replied, "Perhaps I've said too much." And then the press conference. Oh yeah, Bob Hooker. Yeah, good guy. Well, that's I said it last night. That's what I would go. If you want to move Rodriguez up, Rodriguez has had success with Barkov and Reinhart before. So you want to make some changes. Barkov, Reinhart, Rodriguez, Bennett, Kachuk, Verhaeghe, Lundell, Samoskevich, Marchand, Sturm, Greer, and Luosterainen. If I'm coach, that's the lineup I'm going with. And then don't ask me what my defensive pairs are because I don't want to fight with anybody about Ekblad. I mean, you got to admit it's pretty impressive to be intimately involved with 4 goals and none of them really technically be all that much your fault, right? Like, that's hard to do. It's hard to do. Trey says Chicago would take Verhaeghe just to have something next to the Bordard, right? One wild and crazy guy. Do I think Calgary make the playoffs next year? If they get the goaltending, maybe. But they're running out of years with Huberdeau, and they're gonna have to continue to improve. It's hard on those bubble playoff teams. There's a lot of good teams in the West. Wolver says, tell me if you've seen this movie before. Player makes a hit, gets ejected mainly due to the previous incidents that happened leading up to his hit. Teammate does the same thing, nothing. Opponent does right. Also nothing. Yeah, I get that, Bovar. I get it. I mean, I don't know how this stuff goes on behind the scenes. Kachuk is good for ratings. I mean, there's no lie. David says, I'm just saying we're 3 games into the playoffs and we're ahead. No, it could be a lot worse. Yeah, exactly, Eyes. Says, as much as the game sucked, if you told me before the series we'd be up 2-1 after 3, I would take it. Absolutely. Goals. Please. We need some sustained offensive zone time. I think that's part of why we're allowing goals like we did yesterday, because we're just not having real sustained offensive zone time, and we're having too many passes get picked off. And if you go back to the series where we got swept against Tampa, you will find me screaming and yelling the same thing I was yelling last night's recap about coming in and trying these cross-ice passes in the offensive zone that Tampa's getting sticks on and the puck is out of the zone. I was screaming about the same thing. I don't know why they keep figuring it. And Maurice kind of said something a little bit similar, but they're looking for the perfect shot on Vasilevsky. Shoot the puck. You're either going to get a face-off, which we got killed in the circle, by the way, or you're going to get a rebound and maybe get one snuck past them. I don't know why they continue, Reinhart especially, continues to try these cross-ice passes in between the circles when there's two defenders in between one Panther and the other. I don't understand it. I don't think there's anything more that makes me more aggravated than that. Just shoot the puck. And that's why I was upset they moved Sam Miskevich, because at least he's going to shoot the puck, right? He's shooting. Mel says, I'm scared of Maurice right now for all the reasons I brought up in the recap. It's a little frustrating. But we lost. So now maybe he'll figure something out. If he makes changes now, you know what? That's funny, though, because you said so far he said no changes. That'd be Maurice. We get waxed 5-1. No, not going to make any changes. No, not going to change anything. Yeah, that sounds about right. David says, we're healthy defending champs. Just bring it. Sure. Eric, I had said it was going to be, my bracket, I picked Panthers in 7 anyway. I was hoping we could get done sooner than that. David. Meadow says the last 2 times I've seen the Lightning in person, they've been blowouts. Yikes. Eric, yeah, good question. Who wins the first home game? At the way it's going right now, I would kind of figure Panthers in 4, Tampa 5, Panthers at home in 6. Maybe home teams will just win the rest of the games. I'd be fine with that at this point. I says, are we going to get any funny skits with Kyle and I this postseason? Well, we were supposed to have one opening day. Takes a lot out of Kyle with all the streaming. We got to get through the first round, right? It takes a lot out of him to, with all the streaming. He holds it together pretty good at night, but then during the day, he's pretty wiped out. Derek going to the Devils game in a few hours. Is that another early afternoon one? I think so. David, yeah, we got to do better in the faceoff. So, we got to do better. I don't know what the numbers were yesterday. And by the way, am I the only one that kind of watched Barkov out there and thought he might have been one beer short of a 6-pack? He did not look like himself yesterday at all. Like, he kind of looked like I'm here. I mean, his eyes were big and glassy. That dude didn't look healthy to me. One wild and crazy guy says, a lot of people don't like Biz as a broadcaster. I personally like the guy. One of my feelings, he's got a sense of humor that you either love or hate. I suppose I feel about him the way some people feel about me. I can tell why people find him entertaining, but he just rubs me the wrong way. I've tried to like him. I don't necessarily dislike him, but I can think of a lot of content I would rather watch. I don't know what it is about the guy. He's had a couple of takes that I really disagreed with. But it's nothing against the guy. I can see why people find him entertaining, and I can see why people could dislike him. I says I made 4 brackets in 4 leagues, and not one had the Leafs beating the Sens. That's not good. At least Ottawa pulled it off last night. Have Trey do some funny skits. He's pretty funny. That's a good point. Colin says Kachuk better be thankful that he's not suspended. That was a stupid hit. It's only stupid if he gets suspended. Right? Although you see what he did to Eichel and then what Kolzar did to him. That's the reason it could be stupid. David says, as bad a face-off game we ever had. He's probably a bit concussed. And he didn't look right. Trey says, Biz is awesome. Yeah. Jake, they were asking about Bizanet. Brian says, maybe I'm no hockey expert, but it looked like we got goalie by Vasi. How many shots do we have? What was the shots on goal total? If we had close to 40 shots and he only allowed one, then we got goalied. But I don't. We only had I don't know what our shot total was yesterday, but it didn't feel like we had a ton like we normally should. Eric, I think they're going to come out tomorrow really fresh. I think they'll come out tomorrow night really fresh. It'll be a home game at night, the way it should be. I feel like we'll take control back of the series tomorrow. Paul Bizanet, Jake, he's the former player / now personality. Likes to do a lot of hot takes. They've got a podcast. Yeah. I see his stuff every once in a while. He's on the one of the broadcast teams. He's on the intermission, right? I don't know if it's TNT or TBS. Yeah, David. Yeah, Landeskog. Yeah, he was good. He was good last night. Metal says you think 34? That's more than maybe we had some towards the end. It just didn't feel like we've got to get traffic in front of Vasilevsky. I mean, you see in game one, like Reinhardt's was a deflection, right? Was it Barkov that had the screen in front of Vasilevsky for the Kulikov shot? Was that it? There was a couple, it was either deflections or screens. We've got to get in front of him. It takes work. Hey, Dana. Dana says, I don't like the guy. He's too much. He's just too much. And then I recall him starting off-season rumors. Dana says he's smarmy. He rubs me the wrong way. But then there's people that rub people the wrong way, right? Right? Shocking to find out not everybody likes me. I don't know. What did I ever do? Metal says Bob was not great. Exactly. Not bad, but it was just bad all the way. It wasn't bad all the way around, but when everybody is playing below average, it ends up looking bad because Tampa came to play. We just didn't. Bass had 33 saves last night. Bob had 17. That's bad. That's bad. I mean, Vasilevsky made some good saves, but it's not like we're making him do like the Bobrovsky, right? Right? It's not like we're making him make saves like Bob's had to make in previous magnificent runs. He's making some good saves, but there's only like a couple I can even think of that were like, oh my God, how did Vasilevsky get to that? A lot of shooting it right into his sweater. And if he can see the puck, he's going to make the save. We got to get screens. We got to get on front of him. Trey says Maurice needs to go on TNT when he retires. I agree. Jaws, yeah, puck luck was certainly not in our favor yesterday. Like I said, it was everything wrapped up into one game. All the bad habits, everything bad, all in one game. So, okay. We won both in Tampa. We'll take it. You gotta take control of the series on Monday, though. You can't go back down to Tampa 2-2. You can't do it. So we need to pick the energy back up and look like we did. Of course, Tampa's awake now. But, if both teams are playing to the best of their ability, try this again. If both teams are playing to the best of their ability, where we should be after 60 minutes is 2-2 headed to overtime. My opinion. God help me, overtime. I hope Jake doesn't fight. I mean, I hope Chucky doesn't fight. I mean, that's how he got hurt. Hey, Simon, how you doing, bud? Yeah, we're doing I know we're doing the Caps and Canadiens today. Let me see. Let me get my glasses on so I can look at this. I know we're doing Caps and Canadiens today. Oh, hold on a second. Let me get back to where today. This is not okay. Today is 6:30. Caps and Canadiens. That might be the only game we do. We might join Hurricanes and Devils late. I know we're not going to do Jets and Blues because that starts in like 5 freaking minutes. So I know we're doing the Caps and Canadiens. If we don't jump on too early, depending on how Montreal and Washington go, if we're awake and we're not too tired, we might stay up and do Kings and Oilers. I wouldn't mind doing that. So that's probably the way it's going to go. Is maybe if we look and we see the score for Hurricanes Devils is close, we'll probably pick up the end of that game, do Montreal, Washington, and then we'll see how we feel after that, whether we're going to do Kings and Oilers. I don't want to completely wear him out, but we are getting good crowds, so I want to try to get as many games in as possible. Yeah, Maurice on intermission would be lit. Yep, David, what'd you say? It must have been David, whatever you said must have YouTube must have deleted it. Al says no more Kyle sketches. Last year he manifested the upcoming resurgence of Ovi. I know. Michael, that's a good point. He says, what's upsetting is this was the first home playoff game since we won the cup and there was no urgency. That I agree with. Yeah, that's a good point. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, though, man. It's just like I don't know why this team is always so bad in the afternoon, but there must be something with our scheduling. I'm not suggesting changing it, but who puts the first home game for the Stanley Cup champs at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? On what planet is that not a prime time? It's just the NHL does some stupid things. Black says, I couldn't have agreed you more on the recap. I hate saying this every time we play in the early afternoon, but yeah. I feel we'll be better Monday night. Hey, thank you, Eyes. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Eyes. He says, Keith Yandel would have streamed all 4 games because he's the Iron Man. We did 3. We did 3 to 1 day. And we'll see how it goes today. We'll see. Donnie usually leaves about 3 o'clock, so we'll get to it. We'll probably do the late game. It's just they start so damn late. It's hard. You know. We start because he's doing a really good job of calling the games. Like I'm impressed at how good he's gotten. He's getting to be pretty descriptive. If he was at the games, I think he could really call a game. He's getting real descriptive with things I would never. I could call football. But my brain doesn't work fast enough to do what he does. He's doing a really good job. So I try not to completely wear him out because he's really getting to the point when he focuses on calling the parts, he's getting really good. He's not just calling the puck movement. He'll call, hits that are happening and things that are happening on the ice. So I try not to completely wear him out because, he still has eBay responsibilities during the day. And, he's still, he's high functioning autism, but he's still, I still have to make sure that he's okay. I can't wear him out or he'll crash and burn. That's just part of the disability. So, well, we're good for the 1 game, maybe the 2nd game tonight. Owls, yeah, we're getting close. I hope we can get to 9 by the end of the series, by the end of the playoffs. Hopefully we can get to 9. It'll be 9,000 after 9 years. Yeah. So that would put me on pace for 10 after 10, right? Kate has a high function. Yep. You get it. It's like capable of greatness in certain spurts, and then definitely have to take a timeout. Where I'm just mediocre, but I can go for 24 hours and be mediocre. Al says, I can't even tell where the specific players or the puck are half the time. Yeah, Donna asked me and said, can't Kyle take a night? And I do what he did. I like, no. I'm like, by the time my eyes process the number, 2 other players have had the puck. He's calling the guys names. I can't even see the number. I'm like, how are you remembering this stuff? How do you know who that? It's crazy. It's not easy on TV, right? Simon, could he do a hockey broadcast? I mean, I don't know if he could do it professionally for a team on a nightly basis. I don't know that he'd want to do it. Let's put it that way. If he wanted to do it, he probably could. I don't know that he would want to. You know what I mean? So, but if he wanted to do it, he can do anything he wants. It's just a matter of being able to do it on a consistent basis. The kid is ridiculously brilliant. He's got a complete photographic memory. Like, he reads it, and like 5 years later, it's just in there. It's just logged. I think that's what happened to my brains. I think I've gotten dumber as he's gotten smarter. Like, I can't remember where my hat is half the time, even when it's on my head. Al says, Kyle would never call overtime as good as Matthias. No, that one's perfect. David says, I got one of my favorite jobs ever when a captain asked my qualifications, and I said, weak mind, strong back. I like that. Yeah, that's what I'm pissed off about, David. I thought as my body got weaker, my mind would get better. It's not worked out. It is not worked out in that direction. I think my hair took my brains with it when it fell out of my head. So it says, amazing game last night, textbook win. I'm like, are you talking about Colorado? You talking about the Avalanche? Yeah, I think they'll be desperate tomorrow, Eric. I think they'll come out and be desperate tomorrow. Oh, there's the bumblebees outside the window. I was wondering what I was hearing. Simon says that Jaws, at the end of the day, do I think the Panthers are going to win this series? Yes, I do. I do feel like this is the time that they're going to win the series. And Ryan, you know what, Ryan? He says Chucky is a pink chicken because he's a sore loser. Ryan, I think we'll finally use Chicken Chuck in the next intro to troll all the Tampa fans since Chucky didn't get suspended. Yeah. Ryan, you just finally motivated me. So however cringe that turns out, you can just blame Ryan. Bulwer says, I had the same thing myself. I also really wish more people could at least pretend to understand the struggles. Yeah. And you know what it is, Bulvar? It's hard because you have to explain it to other people, because other people might meet him and think, hey, how come he's not like a rocket scientist? It's like, well, on Monday he could build rockets, but on Tuesday he's going to need to run around the yard by himself and be left the hell alone. And you just got to be okay with that. You know what I mean? So it's, he's got it about as good as he could have it, considering his situation. We're not having to. He doesn't have to go out and work and get a job. He didn't want to. So, we just keep kicking it. Jake. Bowler says, did the Leafs have a bonfire for their entire roster if they choke this series? I can guarantee you if they choke this series, Bennett's not going to Toronto. That's what I'm willing to say. Right? That's what I'm willing to say. Yeah, credit Ryan as executive producer on the intro. Yeah. Yep. Eric, I really don't think Chucky's going to fight. Tell Ryan to stop crying. Yeah. Crying Ryan. I think that's what we'll give him. Yeah. My name might be Chicken Chuck, but at least I'm not crying Ryan. Good call there, Jake. That's perfect. That's perfect. Because I have a mouth guard. I have a mouth guard that I wear to bed. So I think it was Craig's idea. It'll work perfect because I can't talk with the damn thing in. So I won't have to change my voice. I just put the mouth guard in and just talk, and it'll be perfect. It ain't gonna sound anything like Kachuk, but it's not supposed to, right? Dana. If Chucky didn't score a goal, Tampa would have won 5-0. That's true. That's true. I mean, you never know. But hey, look. I mean, Tampa wasn't going to get swept, right? Tampa wasn't going to get swept. And if there was going to be a game, like if you would have told me you were from the future and you came in and you said, I already know the Panthers are going to win in 5. Which game does Florida lose? I would have picked the 1 o'clock in the afternoon game. I don't know if we could beat our own AHL team on the 1 o'clock in the afternoon game. It would be close. It would honestly be close. I wish somebody would ask Maurice that question. And, Maurice would probably be like, really? I wasn't aware that we played bad in the afternoon. It's like, come on, Paul. I just wonder if, the entire team has, a scheduled 2 p.m. nap time. I would assume most teams would have a schedule like that, but there's got to be some reason we suck in the afternoon. I mean, this has been for forever around here that they're just bad in the afternoon. I don't know. But now I think about it. When the weather's nice, right? When the weather's nice here, the 2 weeks of the year that the weather here in Maryland is nice, we have a Saturday afternoon game. What am I bitching about in the recaps? I should be fishing. I should be outside. The weather's gorgeous. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're pissed off. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday. They should be fishing, maybe hit 9 on golf, maybe swim by the pool, and instead they got to be at the rink. Maybe that's what it is. But then if that made them irritable, they should be better. So that don't make any sense. I wish somebody would ask Maurice what the hell. He'd probably deny the damn thing. Lil J says game 1 last year was in the afternoon and we won. Was it 1 o'clock? Was it 1 o'clock? We usually suck. Somebody had said I think it was Ryan said we lost our last 4 or 5 at 1 o'clock. Lax says they did have a morning skate before the 1 p.m. game. I mean, they came out fine. Well, it is what it is now. Just come back Monday and take control of this thing and then finish it on Wednesday in Tampa. Probably going to go 6. Damn it. I hate losing. I don't like losing games like that. We do need to put the puck in the back of the net. And hopefully Barkov is okay. He didn't look all that great. Barkov did not look like himself yesterday. What was the face-offs? I'm going to look at the stats from yesterday and see if it was as bad as it seemed. Because for a while there, it really looked terrible. I want to find. That's 24 hours ago. No, that wouldn't have been. Let's see. I don't want that one. Here we go. Let's look at the box score from yesterday. Are we going to get, let's see, face-offs was 57% for Tampa, 42 for us. That's lousy. Do they have the individual face-off comparisons? Here we go. Let's see. Oh, this is not going to give me what I want. No, I want Panthers. There's Tampa, Florida. See, Sturm was 45%. Bennett was 38%. Lundell, my God, was 18% in the circle yesterday. Barkov was 53. That's terrible. And now Barkov's usually better than that. At least that's a little bit better. Lundell, holy crap. Am I reading that right? He was 2 for 11 in the circle yesterday. Jesus. That's bad. 18% from Lundell in the circle. Reinhardt was 3 for 3. Bennett was 38%. That's not, I mean, Sturm was 45. That's bad, though. Holy crap. 18% from Lundell. Jesus. I could do 18%. Like, I could win one on accident. That might be a bit of a stretch. I could win 1 out of 18 just by accident, right? Come on now. Holy crap. Yeah, but I mean, we gotta be better than that. We gotta be better than that in the circle. Dave says, hell yeah, I can fall on one. Yeah, right? Jeez. So then it wasn't our imagination. Barkov 53, not terrible, but he's usually, 60 or above. But I guess, playoffs, better competition. 53 is not going to kill us. Damn. That's terrible. Yeah, I mean, we got to stay out of the box, but I mean, the series is what it is. You know what I mean? They're going to have those rough moments. Man, this is Blues and Jets. Jets are going to slip up again. I promised, there's a Winnipeg Jets fan that comes to the noon streams. I promised them that they were going to win. So I hope I didn't Jostradamus him, reverse Jostradamus him. I promised them they were going to win. So that is probably stupid on my part. David says 53 is bad for him. I bet this season average was, I think he was, let me see. No, let me look. Let me look he was really awesome this year in the faceoff circle, more than any, I think. 56. Actually, he was last year was 57. This year was 56. He's been pretty consistent, really almost his whole career. First few years, he was just under 50. And then he's been between 54 and 58. So it was not his better game. The thing for me is he just did not look, he didn't have any jump. He didn't have it from what I could see. But then to think about it, if Barkov's out and you're going to go with Lundell up there, if Lundell was 18% on the third line, Jesus, that's bad. That's not good. What the hell is going on? Wonder if something happened to Lundell. Huh. Hopefully he's okay. 18%, you don't see that. Right? I mean, I'm going to look at the other games. Since I'm here, I'm going to look at, where are they? That's round. Where's the other games? Let me see the box score. Looking at time on ice. Yeah, I mean, he's got Samoskevich down to 952. Where's Kachuk? Kachuk 16, Reinhardt 21. Where's Ekblad? Ekblad's 20 minutes. Jones still had more time on ice than Ekblad did. And then you got Kulikov only getting 1340. I don't necessarily agree with the time on ice there with the defensive pairs. Ekblad coming back right off the bat, getting all those minutes and just sending Kulikov into the nether runs, into the shadow realm. Lax. I mean, he's asking if we lose on Monday, would I take Ekblad out and put Balinskis in? Maurice ain't never going to do it. The only way, and I'm not suggesting we should or shouldn't or any of that, this is just an observation, but in my opinion, from what I've seen, the only way we ever get Aaron Ekblad off the top pair with Gustav Forsling is not re-signing him. It's just, we as fans, we see a lot of the negative parts. Maurice sees it differently. We want to cope with the guy. It is what it is. It was unfortunate that the entire team kind of laid an egg in the last two periods of that game. And it just so happened that Ekblad was on the ice right there in all four goals. I mean, like the fourth goal, is that Ekblad's fault? He's defending a 2-on-1. Forsling's the one that lost the puck at the line, lost his man. No, never happened. They didn't show it more than once. So is it Ekblad's fault that he's defending a 2-on-1? Sometimes you can defend it nicely, and sometimes the puck's in the back of the net. That's why people get excited when it's a 2-on-1. So, we need guys that are going to shoot the puck. We're going to give up goals. We have to score goals. You know what I mean? Like if let's put it this way. If Tampa doesn't score again, it's 2-1 and we lose. Forget the third goal. Forget the fourth goal. Forget the empty net goal. We lost the game in the second period. It's 2-1. We've got to score goals. Fly says 18% is like the worst I remember hearing. Yeah, and you're talking about, was it 11? Was it 11 draws he took? I think that's what it was. Let me get back to it here real quick. Oh, I can look at here. Let me look at the game centers for game 1 and game 2. I want to see what Lundell did in those games. Where's the face-off comparison? Here we go. In game 1, Sturm was 47%. Bennett was 44%. Lundell was 60% in game 1. And Barkov was 78%. Say it again. In game 1, Lundell was 60%. Barkov was 78%. Holy hell in a handbasket. And then in game 2, face-offs, Sturm was 63, Bennett was 50, Lundell was 78% in game 3, and Barkov was 53. So Lundell has been 60%, 78%, and then 18%. Holy hell. What in the hell is that? That's something. That's something. They got to fix that. I mean, you got to at least be 40% to be mildly, moderately, acceptably, you're a center out there. Holy crap. And remember the game 2 when he was 78%, he got moved up into Barkov's spot for what? A period and a quarter or something, right? David says it's called a bad game. That's a bad game. That's a bad game. Holy hell. That's a bad game. Like 40 is a bad game. When you're used to shooting 60, 40 is a bad game. Yeah, Lundell should have enough experience at this point. Yeah, I wonder if, you know what? Hold on. Let me look at those numbers a little bit deeper because it's given me who he's going up against. So I wonder if they changed who he's going up against. So Lundell was in game 2, he was 7 of 9. So he had 2 against Glendening, 3 against Paul. He won 1 against Sorelli, 1 against Gergensons, and 1 against Point. So I wonder what happened. Let's look at yesterday and see if they changed who he is going up against. Here we go. So he was 2 of 11 for 18. He was 0 for 5 against Paul, 0 for 1 against Glendening, 1 for 2 against Point, and 1 for 3 against Sorelli. So he was 0 for 5 against Paul. And yeah, so that's a bad day. That's a bad day to say that. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, David. That's kind of how I feel about it. Is I get all the evil out in one game and back out. Right. Eric says whoever wins games 4 wins the series. I wouldn't honestly disagree with that all that much. If Panthers lose game 4, you could kind of see, that thing momentum that Paul Maurice doesn't think exists. They got to win game 4. You don't want to go back to Tampa having lost both games at home. I'm not saying it's a must win. Meadow says, what do we do if we lose game 4? I don't know what we can do. I mean, now I wouldn't mind seeing Greer on the ice instead of Boquist. And I bet you he's going to sit Samoskevich. If you listen to what Maurice said in his post game yesterday, when they asked him about Samoskevich, he gave his little speech about how he liked game 1, wasn't really happy with game 2. He's a young player going through his first run. He's learning. And then he said, remember, in Lundell's first year, he was scratched a few times and he turned out okay. So I have a feeling he's going to scratch Samoskevich and put maybe Greer on the ice. Don't be shocked if we see that. Now, I'm not going to have that meltdown right now, but whatever Samoskevich was doing wrong in game 1, we still won the damn game by a shutout. So I'm not all that thrilled about taking all that speed and energy off of that top 6 at all. But that's Maurice. I don't think we'll see Gadjevich, Occams. I don't think we'll see Gadjo. I think we'll see Greer. I think we'll see Greer. Again, I'm not suggesting that's – I would rather see Boquist off and, what the lineup, like I said earlier, like I said in the recap last night, you want to move some guys around. You want to get Rodriguez going, Barkov, Reinhart, Erod, Bennett, Kachuk for Hagee, Lundell, Marchand, Samoskevich, Sturm with Greer and Luosterainen. I'd put Luosterainen on that fourth line for a hot minute. I don't know. I know you need Luosterainen's defense, but damn, somebody's got to put the puck in the back of the net. You know what I mean? Collins got Barkov, Reinhart, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying it, Colin, but I should have just been reading your comment. I don't know, Meadow. Colby Guy asked him. He asked the question. It's on the Panthers channel. I saw it this morning. He asked the question, so credit to him for asking. And Paul spoke in his generalities. He's a young guy learning. He liked the first game. He wasn't happy with his game 2, and he got into it a little bit tonight, but I couldn't tell if Paul was giving him a compliment or a complaint the way he talked about last night's game. And then he said the comment about Lundell having been scratched. And True says Carter needs to show up. Yeah. Dave says, you think Bennett and I thought Marchand's skating pretty good. I mean, Marchand's been given the puck. He's been getting assists. I mean, yesterday, nobody was really all that great, But yeah, we do need Verhaeghe to show up, right? Somebody's got to step up and put the puck in the back of the net. Colin, no, I know. And I didn't even really have that much of a problem with that penalty because, and it was just the natural action that he was going through. Now, I'm sure Maurice has a more specific idea, whether it's he thinks he's not getting the work done along the boards or whatever it is, but he ain't going to tell us, you know? So it is what it is. We lose the game. It's not the end of the world just yet. We got game 4 tomorrow night. Just come back and play play like we know we're capable of playing. And we need Bubba. We need Bubba. Hey Paul, how you doing, bud? One more time on your way out. I didn't see there you go. Yeah, you said yes, sit Bohlquist and Luosterainen. I don't know if we want to sit Luosterainen, but definitely Bohlquist. We need Luosterainen for the PK, for sure. But somebody's got to put the puck in the back of the net, man. All right, everybody, I got to roll. Voice is going. I got to get a few hours here before we get ready to start thinking about the next stream. I know for sure we're going to be live for Caps and Canadiens. And then past that, I'm not quite sure. We're going to see how Kyle's feeling. He was just getting up when I was popping in here. So just watch for the stream to be created. And we will see you a little bit later on. Appreciate all the support. We will see you later.